Welcome to Center Heist Productions. It is September 8th, 2025. Please hit the likes and subscribe on your right hand corner. And thank you to those who are subscribers of the channel, as we've built an integral channel here that focuses on no clickbait, but factual information. We don't run with rumors. So please share it with your friends and family. If you just come across the channel, please hit the likes and subscribe. Helps the channel grow, and we have a good, solid community here. Um, and yes, you can leave your comments as well, as long as they're respectable. We like to respect each other's points of views on this channel. All right, as I promised, this is going to be a very hard tape for me to do. Um, This is one of my all-time heroes, um, the great Ken Dryden. Um, this whole tape is dedicated to Mr. Ken Dryden, who I grew up watching when I was a little boy, and I can't say enough about him. People have their opinions. I can tell you, if you went that far back in hockey, greatest goaltender I've ever seen in my life and will be. I've seen all the goalies come in and out. Yes, there's been some really good ones. I've never seen a goaltender to the standing of Ken Dryden, and this was back when the game was, there's a lot of rule differences. This was a very aggressive game in the 70s when Mr. Dryden played. He had a very short career, didn't last long because he retired sooner than he had many years that he could have went on to play. But phenomenal, total phenom in the net. That trademark came in with that original, very old-looking cage mask. The first mask being, you know, that he came in with being just a cage, and then he came out with the infamous, phenomenal mask that we've seen through his career later on, which I had one growing up, that when we used to play the game, we had painted it identical to Ken's infamous face mask, and I always, to this day, it's still my favorite face mask, and stark resemblance, and when you see that face mask who it was. And this was a time when goaltenders, this was stand-up goaltending, and I still prefer it much more than what the goaltending I see today. Everybody's on their knees. This really emphasized the athleticism of a man that big in the net at that time. Incredible. This is when you've seen a lot of goaltenders, the splits for a man this big. He did, it's a shame. I was hoping to find more of those moments, but you can only get what the media had at the time. But watching his games, you had to be there in that time frame. And I had the luxury of being a kid watching the great Ken Dryden, and that relaxed posture on the stick. It just seemed, you never seen such a calm, cool, collective guy. Um, to that degree in the net. He was just a different species, and you knew it. And I'm sorry, but here's how I rate them: Ken Dryden, Vladislav Tretiak. Then you can look at the Patrick Walls and Carey Price, uh, and the Martin Brodeur, um, in that category. Um, However, for me, Ken Dryden, people, the younger generation didn't get the honor. You can't even put a spin on it. You didn't see this era of hockey, so you really don't get it. And it's not a knock against the generation, but you're used to this butterfly system and this system. That's why you're seeing so many goals scored high. These goaltenders are on their knees the majority of the game. So I find it's kind of a different process, and I'm not a fan of it, because I find when you're on your knees, you're opening up everything, and to me, that's why you're getting so many goals up high over the shoulders. There's not enough intelligence being used on covering the net. Too many guys are in the system. I honestly think it'd be a great uh, thing to interject stand-up goaltending back into the game, because I think that's one of the flaws within our goaltending system today. Yes, we had some great goaltenders like Patrick Waugh, Martin Brodeur, and Carey Price that did well with the butterfly system, that kind of posture. But I'm sorry, you can't even compare. Um, I'm sorry to say, I know they were phenomenal at it. I'm telling you now, in the day and age, era of Ken Dryden and Vladislav Tretiak, there's nobody who comes close to those two goaltenders. Ken was phenomenal, and such a hero. And it's hard for me making this tape. And what a class act! I was so devastated. I remember being devastated when he retired early, and you knew that '79 was the end of it. So I was kind of brokenhearted to see him go, because I knew it was far, far too soon. But he was so intelligent, going to law school, being a lawyer, an author. When he came out with the book, The Game, I guarantee you, I was one of the first in the lineup to buy that book. And what a great book! What a great read! Um, and then to go on to serving his country in politics so very well. This man loved his team, was quite a player. He was a different phenom that even, the greats like that are all in that team. He comes from he's definitely the goaltender I have in if I get to pick a line and a goaltender, he's my goalie. And that's hands down. It's not even close. Uh, and so for me, it's actually, I had a hard time. That's why the tape is late as well, because it's pretty emotional. It was emotional when you see these greats like the Flower go down, and now our great goaltender Ken Dryden. It's really hard to take seeing John Beliveau go. But Ken was phenomenal, and I didn't even know he was sick. Um, and to hear his speech, his interview when Lane Hudson won the Calder, and he just looked so positive, and he was always a gentleman, just so positive. What a man with words, speech, articulate, just an incredible person. Cared, family man. You could tell he was a good family man. Awesome teammate, and again, bringing in something different when going to school while he's playing, like Serge said. So you knew the IQ and intelligence of this guy was at a different level. He's one of a kind, and I mean, for me, the '70s was just our era for Habs, the dynasty of that '70s squad, the players that were back then. It just phenomenal. For me, my favorite years were always the '78 and '79 Stanley Cups. Um, those were my favorite ones, but I loved the entire '70s. But um, just it's very heartfelt. So we're going to take a quick minute here to honor a minute of silence here to honor Ken Dryden. Rest in peace. Let's take a minute. All right, there. Rest in peace, Ken. Thank you so much for what you brought to the game and to the Dryden family. My deepest, deepest sympathy and condolences to you. I'm so sorry for your loss. It's our loss too. Believe it or not, I'm fighting back the tears here. Um, this is my childhood, so the years are just passing, and this was just such a tremendous time. And this, to me, was when hockey was at its greatest period. And yeah, it's a different game now. It's not even the same game. We can't even put the two together. But the amount, the intensity of the game was very in your face, and it was for keeps. The violence at that time, and like I said, the play of these players, the heart was really a big thing. This was when hockey wasn't about money. I can't say enough about this gentleman to have served for the Liberal Party as well, being an MP. He really put his country, his team, his fans first. Canadians. He cared. Very caring gentleman. Just an exception, an exceptional man. So again, it's really hard to sit back watching a great like this go. My favorite goaltender of all time, the best, and I don't care. You had to be there to, and there's no comparisons here. Yes, there were great goalies afterwards, and for me, it would have my backup goaltender to Ken would have been a toss up between Waugh and Price, but probably would have been I would have given Waugh the edge for his playoff play, but Ken Dryden was all of the above, the best of them all. Um, I can't. He did so much for the game, and a giant, and so intelligent. But boy, he could take care of himself too. Um, I can't say enough. What a career! And I do think the young goaltenders of today's game and the coaches of goaltenders need to go back to the film and need to go back to retraining, bringing in a style, because this on your knees stuff is garbage. It's they're down too fast, and you can't tell me it's a little too restful. You lose a bit of the athleticism and the intelligence of the goaltending position when they're sitting on their knees, and that's all they're doing, blocking the lower, and it's premature a lot of times. I'd like to see a goaltender that can put the stand up and the butterfly all together and use it properly. And that's what I found with Ken Dryden. The way this man did the splits was incredible, and the goalies of that era as well. Um, there's not enough I can say. God bless you, Ken. Um, and again, God bless the family, the Dryden family. What an exception to humanity and to the Canadian way of life. God bless and rest in peace, Ken. And I pray that there's um, um, a hand placed upon the family right now in their pain. We're standing with you. God bless.